So, everybody, we're back. Another episode of It's Always Something, the podcast with people that know things about movies. And let me tell you, we know things about movies.
Yes, sir.
We are on episode 11. We have, every single week our followers go up and up and up, Basically, we're going to the moon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And,
To the moon.
It's really getting crazy.
It's getting out of hand.
Hard to even keep up with.
Yeah, the comments are they're live. We'd like to answer.
I want to say sorry if we don't respond to some of your comments. There's so many flooding in. We're just
right.
I was going to say, I had to turn my phone on silent mode. It's always blowing up.
Seriously. Yeah, but we're
this guy's falling asleep over here. He's falling on his
Chill
shoulder.
out,
just in case you're looking, we do this live on TikTok. You guys can join in and see the show live, make a comment or something. So we're on TikTok. We're on the.
We're always there's always some behind the scenes footage going on TikTok.
Oh yeah, we have an after party after every show. So that's the place to be. This guy's been looking for his first donut, so it'd be great to get that in there.
You guys know what that means? It means you can buy a donut on TikTok, or not just a donut, but that's what we prefer because we're obsessed with.
Because they don't have cinnamon rolls.
They don't have cinnamon rolls. If they had cinnamon rolls, man, my goodness.
Seriously, that'd be a different story. But today it is going to be Thanksgiving. Right, tomorrow is Thanksgiving in real life.
In real life,
in YouTube land, depending on when this gets out, it might be the week after Thanksgiving. So we figured we'd watch a very good family-oriented movie called ThanksKilling. We're getting right back into the horrors, maybe the horror comedy genre, as they like to say. And let me tell you, we saw that. We saw ThanksKilling. I feel like Sylvester. Something.
Oh my gosh.
We also saw Thanksgiving, and that's in theaters right now.
Yeah, so that's popular.
So we figured we'd give you a quick review on that, and surprise, it wasn't that bad. I thought it was gonna be terrible. It wasn't that bad, but we'll get into that. I guess first we'll start it off with ThanksKilling. Now, ThanksKilling is a movie about. I've only seen it once. I guess I can say what it's about, and then someone can take over for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's actually two ThanksKillings. There's ThanksKilling, the first one, and there's ThanksKilling 3. ThanksKilling 3 is actually ThanksKilling 2, but the joke is that there is no ThanksKilling 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're not missing out. There just isn't a ThanksKilling 2.
Well, yeah,
that's
and
the
in
joke.
ThanksKilling 3, they go into. ThanksKilling 2 was made, but this crazy turkey took the movie, or it got eliminated. It never got released, and the final copy was
destroyed somehow.
Or is supposed to be destroyed, or something. But it was the final copy, and in the first one, they joked around about something the turkey in space.
Mm-hmm.
It was never supposed to be any sequel. And then
for a good reason.
Yeah, right.
That we'll get into.
Well, yeah, and they made the budget in the whole movie was like $3,000, and they did a lot of the stuff. They built the thing in their apartment and stuff.
Right.
They were in college.
Clearly.
It's just literally just it's absolute low budget movie.
It reminded me a lot of Trauma. Just in the what's it called, the film style, what's it called? The militants. When you pay someone, man, I'm having a brain squeeze right now. When you pay a military to help, guerrilla film style. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just no rules, just filming without permits. Clearly, not getting permission, just kind of showing up in the middle of a town and filming.
And there's a lot of improv. There's a lot of random. It's very very raw. And.
Probably no script at all, I would guess.
Right. Well, very light script. So
they said there was no deleted scenes.
Well, I don't doubt that for a minute.
Everything was there.
So ThanksKilling is a movie about a turkey that was resurrected with powers from an Indian shaman because he wanted to take revenge on, what was it, the people for... I don't even remember.
I haven't seen the first one since last year. So
something like that. So he was given evil powers to go around and kill people. Now, I will say that the very few points that I will award this movie happened right at the beginning, because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, or all you guys at home that are watching this on the YouTubes, let me know if you know of a faster scene, but This is, I believe, the fastest time in cinema history outside of pornography where a boob was shown just immediately at the beginning of the movie. The one pair of boobs it shows it's just immediate. It is a woman running away from the turkey that's trying to kill her. For some reason, she's topless.
Yeah.
They don't really get in, but the movie literally starts on a zoomed in picture of her.
That, but
I don't remember that either.
Well, that's because you guys didn't watch it, apparently. I watched it, and it literally starts. The first scene is zooming out from her bare-breasted chest.
Well,
is that before the credits?
No, that's literally when the movie starts.
Number
it
3
pans
was
out.
like that too.
It literally pans out, and it's on her boob, and it pans out, and she's naked running from a turkey. Poorly acted running from a turkey. That has a hatchet or something.
Well, we talked about that before. How that's a formula in horror movies that.
There has to be boobs in it.
They show it like first thing. And
right.
In this particular case, they showed it
literally first
thing. They did it in 3 too.
Well, at least they know what they're doing, right?
But they never show it again. They never show anything again. And then they just get into the movie,
right?
And that's it. So it's just a hook,
right? And it's like we talked about before.
They put it on the cover of the movie. They say, I think it says boobs in the first second, in the first minute. It says on the cover of the movie.
Yeah.
So they put it right there to
they know.
As a
they
hook.
know. And
like,
and like we said, every horror movie has to have boobs in it. It just it's a staple. Otherwise it's like a PG-13 Five Nights at Freddy's kind of deal where it's not really horror. It's just kind of a scary-ish movie.
Yeah.
Which I would label for young adults, not really,
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what is that, Goosebumps? It's like that kind of thing, where it's just like cheesy scary.
Right.
See, I thought you meant that scene at the beginning when they're getting out of school and they're like the only kids on the whole campus.
No, it was before that.
It was before.
Did you miss that?
I must have missed it.
This guy.
But she raises her shirt too. She's like, "Let's party,"
but she has like a sports bra on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't count.
So.
Yeah, very PG-13, but the very first part was not. So, the turkey has powers. It goes around killing people. Keep in mind, this is a normal-sized turkey. I would say about around 20 to 30 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it wields a hatchet. It's never shown holding anything, but you can just use your imagination that it's holding a hatchet and it kills people.
Mm-hmm.
It's capable of driving cars, doing surgery on people's faces. Yeah. There's not a lot that the bird can't do. It's an amazing bird.
The voice too is like it just got out of prison.
It's got a rough, it reminded me a lot. So the turkey's whole identity, I would say, of all horror movies, is closest to Freddy Krueger. He likes to call people bitch a lot. I'm gonna kill you, and he always says some quirk what would you say? The where you walked in today.
Oh, it's on the front. It's on the cover of the movie. It says "Gobble gobble, mother effer." And they said in the facts about the movie, they even said that they came up with that line before they even knew anything else about the movie.
I don't doubt that for a minute.
Well, that's how they knew they had a good idea.
Yeah,
right.
That was like one of the first things they came up with.
So and then the only way to kill this turkey, as it turns out, later in the movie, because they sneak into the girl's dad's garage, and keep in mind the dad is dead at this point. He's a cop. Oh, so that's another funny thing. I was gonna make a note. The movie was so bad I didn't even make notes. We'll get into the rating after this, but it was a bad movie, and by bad I mean it was not good bad. It did have a couple of funny parts, like cheesy funny.
Yeah.
But for example, the dad is, oh my God, you actually told me a part of,
right.
So there's a part where this is how cheesy it is. There's a sheriff, right? Of course, because every horror movie has to have a sheriff, right? Has to. And the sheriff is sitting, he just talked to his daughter on the phone, and then he has a comically large cowboy hat with a comically large sheriff's badge on the center of the cowboy hat and on his chest, just so you know he's the sheriff. And by comically large, I mean it was like a 5-inch, is the way I recall it, just a gigantic sheriff's badge on his hat. Almost, it's just like over the top, like, hey, this is the sheriff, dummies. Mm-hmm. If you're too dumb to figure it out. So he's sitting in just a random kitchen at his house, and his wife, he's like, oh, get me coffee, and she pours him a cup of coffee, and he's drinking it. And he spits it out. He goes, this coffee tastes like Tish.
God damn, Cheryl. That coffee tastes like shit. What'd you do? Take a dump in it?
As a matter of fact, I sure did. I want a fucking divorce.
That's the movie?
That's the movie that was in it. Yeah, I thought you told me about that.
I forgot that was from that movie.
That's what it was from. Yep, that scene.
I joked about the skin mask that the turkey put on
that too.
door, but I forgot about that one part with the
there was poop in the coffee.
This coffee tastes like Tish.
Yeah, and she goes,
like, it is
Tish. I want a divorce.
There's Tish.
She slams it down and walks out of the room, and he's like, okay, and that was the scene. End scene.
Well, she probably heard about that cat poop coffee where you raise the beans up in like cat turds and
that's a little different. But I see where you're going there. That's a good correlation there.
The civet eats the coffee cherries, but the beans are not fully digested and are excreted in the animal's feces.
And this is a real thing. This is like $1,000 coffee.
Yeah.
And like it's some wild cats, and they go out and collect it, and strain it, and then they cook it and everything. So it's not. Yes, it is cat poop coffee, but still, it's not. This coffee just had turds in it. It was brown is terrible. So that's the kind of movie you're getting into if you're watching ThanksKilling. I think it's like 60 minutes long, maybe 65 minutes long. And I remember going halfway through it thinking, oh my God, how'd they even stretch this to 65 minutes? Like it was there's like 5 endings. It just kept dragging on. Like
number 3 was, I kept thinking it was going to be over soon.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought that it was like exceeding 2 hours. I thought.
That's what I thought too.
Is this seriously going on 2 hours? And apparently it was like an hour and a half, like normal, but
right.
It felt like it was the longest movie ever.
Yeah, that's because it was terrible, and you had to fight through every minute to get through it.
Exactly.
And there were funny scenes, like you said earlier. There's a scene where the turkey's talking to the dad, and it has the comic eyeglasses with the nose on. You know, the classic glasses with the nose. It's wearing that, and the dad thinks it's just some other guy. And so the dad's having a conversation. The sheriff, mind you, is having a conversation with said turkey with the glasses on, and the turkey.
So obvious.
It's clearly a turkey with there's no craziness. Yeah. It's literally just a dumb turkey with glasses and a nose on. And he's having a conversation. And the dad's clearly not very bright, and he keeps saying dumb stuff to it.
Yeah.
And the turkey's like, I'm going to kill him if he says something else. And then like the dad's like. And then the turkey's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave now. I'm tired of waiting," because the turkey's waiting for the daughter to get there to kill her.
Yeah. And
he gets tired of waiting, and then the dad's like, oh, "Okay, well, it's nice meeting you. Maybe we'll see you later." And the turkey's like, "Okay." And it's walking out, and then the dad says under his breath, "That's a weird duck." And then the turkey stops and pulls out a knife. He's like, "That's it." And then the turkey then cuts the face. I'm ruining this for everyone because you should never see this movie. This is literally the funniest part of it. It cuts the dad's face off, and then the daughter and all of her friends come. They're like, "Dad, you got to help us. You're the sheriff." Blah blah. When he answers the door, except the dad doesn't answer the door. It's the turkey wearing the dad's face.
Yeah,
clearly not well
on the floor.
Yes, the turkey's still turkey
down
size,
at it, but they're talking to him like it's the sheriff.
The turkey is still turkey size, right? Like you can't, and it's just wearing a melted face basically on its beak. And that somewhat resembles the dad because it had a mustache.
There was like 4 scenes after that with the sheriff face on that thing too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they had a whole conversation with them, and like they're like, "Oh, Dad, like, do you mind if we go to the garage?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, it's in this way." She's like, "Oh, can you show us to it?" And the turkey's like, "No, like it's that way somewhere." And she's like, "Oh, Dad, you're so silly." It's just like so.
It was
so
awful.
Dumb. It was just so dumb. Like no. Like redeeming quality to it. No, there was the part where he's wearing the dad's face was so comically stupid that it is so stupid it dropped through that floor and then hit comically stupid. Then it dropped through that floor and just became stupid again because it drug on for so long.
Yeah,
and like yet they got distribution for this movie.
Well, it's on
We're
Amazon
sitting here
Prime.
talking about it.
Well, they said that that first one, no one would distribute it. And so they just were selling DVDs on Amazon. And then eventually, apparently, it got, after they had sold a bunch, it got, it's popular.
Somehow.
Or I wouldn't say popular.
Not popular, but
in a cult
popular
way.
enough. A cult, following, yeah. So to sum it up, then they go and have to like read a special passage in this book that's somehow in their garage, and they have to like burn the turkey at a stake because it's a witch or something, and it's just so like I'm trying to process all of it right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
running through all the scenes of the stupidity about like how there's the obviously fat joke of a kid that's in it, and he imagines they ate the turkey and then the turkey busts out of his stomach. Like there's just so many dumb parts. It's like how is he gonna fantasize about eating a turkey? And that's like so he like goes like he does one of these like he's eating an imaginary turkey, and it's just like somehow that worked. I don't know.
Yeah, it's super weird. And number 3, ThanksKilling 3 was like no better, probably worse as far as overall film quality.
Yeah.
And story and everything. But it was really weird. And it went from a $3,000 budget to a $100,000 budget.
Oh my gosh.
So they drastically increased
and it was just as bad.
I'm not gonna say quality of the film, but how much they put into the film.
Production.
And you can tell that a lot more went into it. And there was some like machine, this Pilgrim guys were like selling this machine that like was, I forgot what it was called, like a turkifier or something like that, which it like defeathers the turkey. You put a turkey in it, it defeathers them, it cleans them, cooks them, and it shoots out the other side, and it has this
okay.
thing.
All right.
That's kind of a big part of like these two guys who are making this, and their dream is to come up with to have their own theme park. Just
Okay.
Thanksgiving land.
All right. Yeah. All
And
right.
well, this turkey and this worm and all this stuff from space, and so I'm not going to get into the whole story of it because it's kind of long, but anyway,
Is it the same turkey?
eventually that turkey,
Is it the same
yes,
turkey?
It is absolutely
Okay.
the same turkey, and he's got a wife. He kills he kills his wife. His son is like he kind of kills his son, but he's
Kind
like
of.
he takes the soul of his son and puts it into the DVD that was like from ThanksKilling 2, which never got released, into the cover of it, and so the head of the cover becomes 3D, and it's like sticking out from the movie for the rest of the film. And it's his son, it's the soul of his son is now in the movie, and it's like
gosh.
talking, and it's like that goes on the rest of the movie. And then, well, eventually that main turkey gets put through this machine. There we go. Eventually that turkey gets put through that machine, and it like, it's kind of like, is this going to kill him? And he gets put off into this like turkey bone area of all these dead turkeys, and he's like stripped down. He's like a bloody mess. And
Of course.
anyways, the dead turkeys, apparently they're all like, I don't know, possessed or something.
All of them.
They put him together. They put
Okay.
him back together, and then they tell him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm back," whatever. And they're these two.
He's made out of different
these
turkeys
two
now?
bone turkeys are like telling him, "Oh, we put you all together except for your dilly, Like we didn't have that."
Oh my God!
It's like we couldn't find. He was so mad that he didn't have his
Well,
dilly.
do you remember in the first one, he's
had a
banging some chick? Like that happened. Like he literally. So, like, I'm not gonna say the R word or anything because I don't want to get canceled on YouTube. But like the turkey is the slut. There's a slut of the film, and
It's offensive.
well, it plays her role. She is literally the slut of the film, and she's sleeping with some guy. By sleeping with them, they were not sleeping; they were involved in activities, and the turkey sneaks up behind the guy and kills him, like cuts off his head.
Oh wow!
And then he steps in for the guy and does, I believe they call the Houdini, where he, one guy disappears and the turkey
Yeah.
appears and starts banging the chick.
Oh my gosh.
And that was in the movie, and that's right when I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, and they said some stupid line like something about stuffing.
Oh yeah. Of course they did.
Oh shoot! And then and then he kills her, and then they come over. It's just so dumb. There's so many times
yeah.
it's just ridiculous. All right, so
they told him they couldn't find his dilly, and he was like, "Well, give me this chainsaw," and he was like, and he's like killing people with this little mini chainsaw, and he's like, "Oh, that's my, I don't know, my
dilly,
I guess that's
Okay.
something," but it was all whacked out anyway.
Yeah, we so I didn't watch part 3 because I
Couldn't
I
handle
could
it.
barely get past the first one,
Yeah, I couldn't
so
do it either.
3 was just a stretch. So we'll finish that. Don't ever watch ThanksKilling. It's really bad.
There's puppets in it too.
No, there are no puppets in the first one.
There's one puppet specifically in it, but there's these other like the worm, for example. There's this worm from outer space and whatever. A lot of these things you can see, and they do it intentionally. Sticks holding them up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, geez.
One of those.
It's like, well, that's just what I'm saying. Like, they intentionally, there's like, they know this is a horrible movie. They're intentionally making it as bad as it can possibly be.
They're trying to
Right.
go like Velocipaster with it.
Exactly. They're
you know,
trying to make it so
owning it.
But at
ridiculous.
least Velocipaster, the actors are great. I think
I'm
we all
saying,
remember
there was-
agreeing on that.
Yeah.
That was like actually good, bad. You know, they
Yeah.
owned how
Right.
bad it was. They leaned into it and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just like
I don't think that episode ever got released, did it? The Velocipaster? I think we skipped
no,
that
no,
one.
we didn't release that.
oh.
And that's a shame because it's
Forget I said that.
no, it's fine because it was a good movie. Like that's a fun watch. I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again. In fact, you know.
Yeah, we could discuss that another time.
but-
Watch it right now.
That being said, ThanksKilling and ThanksKilling 3, terrible movies. We'll give it a quick review. I've been thinking about this for a while
Okay,
since
good.
I watched it. I'm going to give it on a scale of 1 to 10. I would give ThanksKilling a 0.9. A 0.9. I'd never want to see it again. There were a couple. The only time I'd ever watch it again is the highlight clips, like I just told you about.
yeah.
And that I could tolerate because that's about all of it. But the acting's terrible, the sound's terrible, the cinematography's terrible, the direction was terrible. Like everything possible about a movie was terrible. There were a couple funny parts,
Mm-hmm.
and the only reason I even gave it a 0.9, I'm almost a 1. Maybe I'll give it a 1. No, I'm gonna stick at 0.9 because the boobs at the very beginning. Because hey, they went straight to it and they're like, "Hey, boobs, okay, now let's go." So I thought that was comical. But 0.9 is what I give it. Gil, over to you.
Well, thank you for passing that along. So there were some things in it that I thought were so, they're bad, but
Yeah.
they were so uniquely funny. Like you probably would never hear it in another movie because they wouldn't go there or
Right.
whatever. Like the whole coffee,
Like a turkey having
like this
someone
coffee,
dumping in the
this
coffee, right?
tastes like crap. Guess what? There is crap in the coffee.
I want a divorce.
It's just like, yeah, I want a divorce, and it's just like
That sounds like Desperate Living.
it's just exactly, yeah. It's just so ridiculous
Mhm,
that they take it. Like everyone says, like, this coffee tastes like crap. It's just like they kind of like took that joke and they made it into something.
Okay.
Little
Not
things
much.
like that. No, but it had me laughing for a little bit. Just
Okay.
stupidly laughing. Little things like that, and those thing where they went to the door with the skin face, and the kids played along with it, and it's just so ridiculous. Anyway, so I rated it a 2.7
A 2.7. Wow.
Yep.
That's-
because here's the thing: if I see a movie where I'm not laughing, I just think it's just so bad I can't even laugh. It's gonna be at the very.
I did
bottom.
chuckle a couple times.
I laughed a
All right,
few
so
times,
now hold
and
up.
So it like got me.
So
Something
that's
of
all right. 2.7. What about for part 3? Same?
that. I kind of rated it all together, but
No.
separately. Huh?
You're the only one that saw them, so
I just did not like. I thought part 3 was too hard to get through,
okay. So give it something. Give it a score.
so I'm gonna have to say a 1.9.
Okay.
Because again, there were a couple funny things in it, but overall,
It's even worse.
it
Okay.
was worse.
All right. Fair enough. All right, you, Andrew.
So the fact that it had a plot, they had characters
Loose
that were,
plot.
there was you had your gang, they had the mission. The story had, some sort of flow to it. It wasn't absolutely like, where are they even going with this? They had their origin story for the monster or whatever. It was crap and it was garbage, but at least they had it. It didn't look or sound terrible. It was watchable and it sounded okay, so I'm gonna give it a 2. Solid 2.
All right.
The visuals
good.
weren't like, that wasn't filmed with like a really nice camera or anything like that, but still you gotta,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
they had their shot, they probably had shot lists and angles.
I
and-
guess for I'll give it credit for being a $3,000 movie shot 15 years ago. I'll give it a 1. I'll give it that 0.1.
Okay.
You guys
You moved it up.
you moved me because I did forget how terrible, how low budget it was.
Right.
And it definitely was low budget, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it a 2. No, sir. 1.0
And I was thinking about that while we were watching Thanksgiving.
because I laughed once and it showed boobs. That's why.
We were watching Thanksgiving yesterday,
What is?
and I was thinking about that.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
automatically, if it's got a higher budget and they're filmed with higher quality cameras, you automatically hold it to a higher standard as far
Yeah.
as like the story.
That's true. That's true.
Everything about it, you have.
Everything.
Because if that same exact movie was made with cheaper cameras, cheaper acting, but had that same story, you probably would rate it higher.
Right.
Definitely.
Speaking of
Let's get into the
higher
next
budget,
movie.
Yeah.
the next movie we saw was the one that's in theaters now, ThanksKilling. ThanksKilling is a movie about Black Friday, and there's a wannabe Walmart store owned out in the country by this family, and wouldn't you know it, they're having a sale on Black Friday. Well, actually, they decided to skip Black Friday. They do it on Thanksgiving, so they're cutting out Black Friday. They want to get ahead of the game. So
Yeah, which is current with
Standard.
times. Yeah,
it's current with times. Yeah, for sure. That's a real thing they do. Actually, some stores are stepping away from doing that. Thank goodness. I think Target and a couple other stores are
For
closed
good
now.
Reason you
Thanksgiving.
saw what happened in the movie.
Oh,
Well, yeah. So, anyways,
Foreshadowing.
very graphic.
speaking of foreshadowing, get to that later. But so they're having a Thanksgiving sale. Everyone's lined up. The crowd was very fake, by the way. I thought the way they're spaced out so well, because you can tell the studio is, because you know how you're like in a crowd and people are shoving and stuff. This crowd has too much space, and like the yelling
Yeah,
going on was just kind of a joke. But it's a movie,
The
so
things they were yelling and stuff were
yeah,
so
it's just
funny. It was so
comic. Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
comical, calling each other names and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
and,
they were over the top.
And so,
thought that part was
anyways,
good.
they're having a sale.
Believable. Like they were angry.
Oh, they
throwing
were
stuff,
super
like-
angry. Yeah,
It was just over the top. Though.
It was.
It was. Yeah.
But so they're having a sale. People, the daughter of the owner lets her friends in the back door because they want to grab a cell phone and some other goodies before they go on their little trip that they're going on.
Yeah, they're not there for the deals. They're
No,
just trying
no.
to grab a couple
Yeah.
randoms.
They
and
said it's
go.
going to be a quick trip in and out, and they go in there
They
and
should have gone to Quick Trip instead. Of
They
going
should
to
have,
the big
yeah.
old. Anyway,
so I don't know how they got a phone in there and got service and everything. That's a different story. But anyways, so they go in there and everyone sees them on the inside and they get all pissed off and they storm the gates, as you will, and knock down the thing, and a bunch of people get killed in a comically horror fashion. Like a guy gets pushed into the glass and his throat gets cut. Another person gets like knocked to the ground and ran over, and then her hair gets ripped off because she ran over by a
scalped,
car.
yeah.
stuck in the wheels of the carts.
Oh yeah, and
just,
then one guy like
crazy
falls
stuff.
down and two carts hit him at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And the guy tries to save his girlfriend, gets his arm. Oh, the one of the main characters, so who they foreshadow may or may not. And I'm not going to ruin it for you guys because the movie is
Yeah,
actually
we're not going to do any spoilers.
no spoilers this one.
No.
But like one of the characters, and motivations, I guess he's like the star pitcher, and he gets knocked down trying to save someone, and someone steps on his arm and snaps it in half, which it was freaking funny.
That was good.
It was good.
that happened right away.
Yeah, it happened right away. So he disappears for most of the rest of the movie, and he's a suspect on the So, anyways, later on in the movie, so after they clean up the mess and everything, it's like a year later, and now people that were involved in that start dying, and they're trying to figure out who it is, and the person, like, they're wearing these Thomas Carver, I think was his name. It might be right.
John Carver.
John Carver. Maybe you're right. Maybe
Oh,
I think John
Carver. Yeah.
Yeah, John Carver
Which
is
is
like
an
a
actual-
founder,
Was an actual pilgrim.
right? But they're like all about him in
Yeah.
that town,
Yeah. That town.
and everyone's wearing, of course, the mask, just
Mhm.
like that. It's just like the Scream thing, just like the Scream
Oh
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
In
Totally.
fact, almost the entire movie was loosely ripped off of Scream, I would say.
Or V for Vendetta.
Or V for Vendetta, yeah. It's
Guy
well,
Fawkes
V for
mask?
Vendetta was not a horror movie. That was
It's the popular mask.
but
Everyone's
yeah.
wearing it.
Right.
One happens
I see what
to be
you
the
mean by
killer.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's a historical figure who stands for something, and they try
right,
to
and they try to
pay homage to it.
right.
Yeah.
So I went into this movie thinking it was going to be trash. Like I expected a solid 5 out of it, because it's kind of
Same
a
here.
Scream ripoff.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, beyond there's a certain things I disliked about it, but overall, I thought it was a good movie. I thought the kills in it, some of them were just absolutely over the top, and that's the reason everyone goes to see these. It's kind of like Saw, where you're going to see like the crazy, murders and stuff, and who done it, who's the person, and the kills in it, some of them were just so over the top. Like there's a part where the lady gets hit by a car and knocked into a trash can and gets like cut in half.
The lid falls on
Yeah,
her.
The lid, a plastic
the
lid,
dumpster lid closes on her, and it her body chop falls in half.
just
It's
falls in
like-
half.
like-
It's the most random weird
Yeah,
thing.
I'm like, are
It's
those
like-
things have blades on them or something?
No,
How did her body just chop in half like that? It just doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah, waste
not make
management.
sense.
It's gonna
Yeah.
get some lawsuits.
there was
for
a lot
sure.
of that was just super gruesome.
Yeah, the part where someone
over
gets
the-
run
yeah.
over, falls onto a table saw and gets
Yeah.
their guts ripped out
Instead
of them.
of
and-
just like
I like that one. That
falling on
was
the table saw and getting like, you know,
or even getting
it's
slashed
like-
in the stomach. Yeah,
it just
that's
like tore. It like
First it was her
sucked
hand,
in.
right?
first is her hand,
it
and
was
then
just
she
her
fell
hand,
onto it.
and I thought, oh, it's her hand, and then all of a sudden she fell onto it somehow.
Mhm.
Well,
I
a
think she
blade
got-
is spinning, right? It might pull you into it.
No, it doesn't work
But her
like
hand
that.
hit it, and
We've
then all of a
seen
sudden her
those
whole
real-life
body went
accidents
onto it,
before,
and then
you
it's
know?
just
No,
like
it's
she stayed on it, and then just was tearing apart her body.
just yeah,
Yeah.
grotesquely ripped her into
Oh, yeah.
pieces.
Then her boyfriend was like, "What do I do?"
Oh, he had the gun too. So there's like a part where he could have saved her, and
Yeah.
like he forgot to turn the safety off. Oh my gosh!
And the
these
bad guy
rookies.
just got away, and then they just stood there watching her die. They're like,
right. Yeah,
you know, he's just getting away. I'm like,
yes.
you know, nobody's
So-
gonna chase after him. You have a gun in your hand. Why not just kill a guy?
The negatives about this movie, I'll get into that. I thought the killer, literally every single time he killed someone, left so much fault to happen. Like every single time he killed someone, they could have got away several times. In fact, some of them do get away, and others get away for a moment. And he's so blundering that you would think, what is this guy doing? Like, is he intentionally letting him try to get away? Like, is that? And no,
Right. Seems
I
like
thought that was going to be like the play where like he's letting him get away, just kind of like, oh, I'll be safe for a minute. No,
Right.
he's just a dummy. You know, it's just like he
Yeah.
basted a person to put him in an oven and then just kind of walked away. And like
he walked away, and you know,
she
You think
woke up
every
and
killer's got like an IQ of like 180 or something. Maybe he's just dumb. You ever think of that? It's
that
like
was
he's-
not his character.
It's not like he's a cop or something. You know, it's not like he's
yeah,
by the book
that's
and
true. Yeah,
he's not going to follow all the rules.
Yeah, that's true. Who knows? Well, I don't know. Yeah, he went over, like was messing with the oven. I don't know. It seemed like a long time.
Yeah.
he's messing with that.
Like,
oven.
what are you doing? You just got to turn it on.
And then she's like, she has time to like.
And
oh,
by the way, it was a
get up
human-sized
and-
oven, not just a normal oven. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
human-sized.
That was convenient.
It was very
It was
convenient.
super convenient.
Yeah. And he cooked it really well. I mean, it
It
did look
looked like one of
delicious.
those massive pizza ovens that they have, you know, like those huge ones.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
very,
yeah.
but long enough for a huge, you know, at least 6
Yeah.
feet.
So, anyways, I thought the killer was bumbling.
Yeah.
I thought some of the kills were just so over the top. It was ridiculous. The story and the want for revenge on whoever the antagonist turns out to be was kind of loose.
Weak. I would say.
Weak, yes. The motivation certainly was there if you're a twisted person, I suppose. But I mean, to do all that and throw away your life in pursuit of that, I thought was a bit of a stretch. I don't think a normal person would have done that. Clearly, a normal person wouldn't kill anyone. But
Yeah.
I digress. A normal person in this movie would not have gone to the extremes, even for what happened to this guy.
Mhm.
So, but I'm not pooping all over the movie. I did find it enjoyable. There's certainly a part where I leaned over to Andy when it's something I coined, and this is you guys can steal this out there in YouTube land. I call it five shadowing. So foreshadowing is when they're, you know, like early in the movie, like if I was drinking like a can of beer and you're like, oh, this is my favorite can of beer or something, and you put it there, like, and then the camera very, you know, kind of glances by it, but doesn't shove it in your face, right?
Mhm.
It's just like, oh, like it's maybe you should know about that beer.
Meaning-
It's his favorite
Yeah.
kind.
Pointing something out that doesn't
Right.
necessarily need to be pointed out.
Now, five shadowing is when I go like this. Oh, this is my favorite kind of beer, and I'm probably going to need this later on today. And they clearly do that in the movie.
Yeah.
There's a part where she's like you'll know it when you see it. She's like, it's not even ruining it, but there's like a part where she's like, oh yeah, I had to train with this blunderbuss. They made me practice over and over so I'll be able to use it anytime. I'm really good at it now. You know?
Yeah, I know.
As it's shining like in her hand, like sparkling, and then she puts it down and it's still sparkling, and later we're gonna need this, and obviously
Yeah.
not
exaggerating.
20 minutes later, you know, that's all of a sudden the blunderbuss is in her hand, she needs it,
Yeah.
saves her right at the last minute, possibly, maybe she still dies, I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, five shadowing is when they're just over obviously telling you something, and it almost takes you out of the movie because it's so
Yeah.
blatantly obvious. So I could have done without that.
Yeah.
They could have just mentioned it, you know, but I just felt like they threw it in my face. So, anyways,
There's certain things about that movie though that if they're trying to be a serious scary movie or a serious, you know, thriller, then you take it one way. But
Mhm.
they went out of their way to be kind of obviously a joke in certain ways. Like,
yeah,
for example, they were like, you know, the joke of like, oh, there won't be making comments like there won't be any leftovers.
Oh,
Making,
yeah.
like
He said
weird
that
like
twice.
Thanksgiving comments and
Yeah.
like stuff like that. And if you know where this movie came from, like
Was it Eli Roth?
Yeah.
Eli Roth, because he had made a trailer for this movie in Grindhouse with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino.
This holiday season, prepare to have the stuffing scared out of you. Thanksgiving.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, he made
another Kurt Russell jam.
in between the two movies. He made
He was in
feature.
Kurt Russell was the
Yeah,
guy that
Kurt
drove the
Russell.
car, right? What was that
Yeah.
one called? Do you remember?
Death Proof.
Death Proof. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, that's a good movie.
And he between there were some trailers that didn't exist for movies that didn't
Oh
exist.
yeah.
And Thanksgiving,
I forgot about
this
that.
is one of them.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
And so that's
All
what the whole. It was never supposed to be a real movie, and then Eli Roth made that trailer, and then when they ended up turning it into this what it is now.
That's funny.
So
That is funny.
it started off as a joke, and now
Okay.
it's like so it is kind of a joke, and so they're making jokes throughout the movie.
Right.
So it's kind of like when you're rating it and when you're thinking about how you should take it, it's kind of like, well, take it somewhat serious like you would like Scream or something like that. You're like, yeah, you're kind of following it like that, but at the same time, some of the stuff they're doing is like totally stupid.
Oh
You're
yeah.
like,
yeah.
You're like, are they just So it's
And like
kinda-
I said,
it's kind of being dumb. but
there
it's
are
kinda-
certain parts that I'm definitely crapping on.
Yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it
Yeah.
for sure. I sat there and I was entertained the whole time. There was not, besides the dumb things that were like over the top, I still wasn't like upset about it. You know, it
Right.
didn't really bother me. It's just like, oh,
It's
this
kinda
is dumb.
dumb, yeah.
But
Totally.
then I'll tell you what, like some of the kills in it were just out of nowhere, like out of left field. Like there's a part during the parade that I'm not going to ruin, but man, that parade gets wild. It's just
Yeah. Oh,
over
yeah.
the top. And
Yeah.
and you know it's coming. You know, you can tell. We just
Right.
don't know what's going to happen, and it just gets pretty wild. And obviously the getaway and stuff that the killer makes is
It's super graphic.
Over the top,
The whole movie
yeah.
is super graphic when it comes to kills and
right
stuff
in a
like
in a
that.
good way. You know what you're
In a
getting
good
into.
way, yeah.
Like definitely, I give it props. There were some practical effects that were pretty good. A lot of CGI, especially with like the blood and stuff. It seems like every movie does that. Like instead of just doing blood anymore, they just like CGI it, and that's
Yeah.
it is what it is. But like I said, all in all, I decided I'd give this movie, I'd probably give it like a 7.1. You know, I thought it was, I was entertained. I was never bored. And it did keep me guessing of like the entire movie. I'm trying to figure out who's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And although I did pick up on a couple things, I thought, well, I don't even want to ruin it. I thought I was going to do a Scream thing because you know how Scream had 2 killers. I'm not going to ruin it just in case that is what you think, but that's what I thought. And I'm not going to tell you if I was wrong or right, but I was wrong. And I'm not going to spoil who it was.
I knew he was wrong.
Yeah. But I thought it was going for the 2 killer thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It's just one person. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but I was guessing till the end. And at the end, it's not who. Well, I had maybe thought it could be this guy, but I wasn't sold. It could have been a girl. I used that in the third person. You know,
Well, God,
I thought it was they them.
I
you
always
know?
say this guy, but
This guy.
That could be
yeah.
anybody.
Could be anyone. These guys. You know.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I said,
We're from Chicago, so guys means
Yeah.
anybody.
Guys, yeah.
yeah, and we count the tree. 1, 2, 3. You know. So, anyways, 7.1. Good movie. Not a family movie, but fun. If you're into gory grindhouse type movies, you'll be entertained. It's fine. It's a fine movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Although I will complain about movie theater prices right now. Those are out of hand.
Yikes.
But anyway, we'll get back to that some other time. What do you think
Yeah.
about it?
So I've been bouncing back and forth between like it's funny that you said 7.1 because I was like I've been bouncing back and forth between 6.9
Okay. All right.
and 7.2. I'm like it's somewhere in there.
It is.
I'm just like because it's not a movie I'll probably ever watch again. I know I won't watch it ever
If
again.
it was on TV, like
Yeah.
during some random time, like 2 years from now,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, no, it's not. You're right, and I wouldn't hate it, and I enjoyed it while I watched it. But it's probably not a movie I would
Right.
turn on
It's not a
again
classic.
intentionally.
Yeah, it's not a classic. It's not like Halloween.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those movies that you're trying to figure out who the killer is once you know. But then again, I guess you could say that about like Scream, you know.
Right.
But then I've seen that like many times. So anyway, I want to say 6. I want to say 6.9 just to say 69, dude. Bill and Ted's. But I think it's a 7.1 for me. Oh, did you say 7.1?
I did. You're agreeing.
Oh, man,
Wow.
I think we're in unison.
We
on
agreed
that.
to do this together.
This almost turned into the trifecta.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god!
The first
Before
ever.
you put your number out, I was thinking I'm a 7. I'm a solid 7,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not gonna go 7-1. I'm gonna hold firm.
Okay.
I'm at
All right.
7.0.
You're allowed. You're allowed.
Just 'cause
You
I
don't
don't
want to be
wanna-
influenced.
Yeah, we don't want to
wanna
influence
jinx
you,
it.
even if you are wrong.
Yeah.
You know what though? I got to call out to Patrick Dempsey was in this movie. There was some other actors I know I've seen, like the guy from Suits. He was the dad with the mustache.
You know, I didn't like his character. I thought it was too over the top.
What was that, Patrick?
He was very
Dempsey show?
toned down.
What was
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh yeah, were you guys into that at all?
No.
Yeah, right.
He probably was.
I bet he
no,
was.
no, I wasn't, but I did play him on Halloween once.
No, I was gonna say the Amanda, my Amanda.
Yes.
She's seen it all.
Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy.
Anatomy all the way
Yeah.
through.
I was never into it.
And so I always leave the room always like, this is so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
I
It's
just can't
definitely a
stand
chick
it.
show.
Yeah.
Now, one show I did like was House.
So I've never seen him in anything.
Very similar, but,
I never
you know.
watched him in
Yeah,
anything other
well-
than I've seen him.
He's a notable
in
actor. Tons of
passing.
movies.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
actor. He's like
Yeah.
really good, I think.
No, he's good.
In this movie though, I was like, wow, his character like is so one-dimensional,
Yeah.
very flat, and he was like
He,
always like when there was a murder happening, he's like, it's gonna be okay.
yeah.
Just like chill, like kind of giving you something to go on, whether it's this direction or that direction. It was
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, it could have
Yeah.
been him. He could have been the killer.
well, it could have been. That's the thing.
I'm not
Hey,
ruining it.
But
speaking of the killer, well, or not the killer, the main character, that girl, she looks
Yeah.
like, who does she look like? First off,
I'll tell you what. I thought she looked like a Wish.com Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh gosh, no, you're off on that one. But I was thinking, man, do I know her from some other movie? Because she looks really familiar. Or I knew the whole time that she looked like an off-brand like Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande.
And then I realized I
I
looked
know
her.
she looks
So I was looked up the movie, and I looked at her what movie she's been in. Nothing I've ever seen.
Mm.
She's hardly been in anything, anyways. But
Have you ever ordered
thought-
a
so that-
Ariana Vente?
that was it.
That's what usually I get.
Yeah, the Ariana Grande is just not big enough.
Yeah.
I want more of
The
it.
Vente, yeah.
So I need that Vente.
Yeah, her character wasn't bad though. I mean,
No, she did pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah. And
She's
Acting was
okay.
good. All
I
your
thought she was.
friends-
There's a lot of part. Oh, so I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the dumbest parts of the movie, I think, for me. There's a part where she just saw one of her friends, get brutally murdered right in front of her, right? And
Which
she lives.
one? It happened to all of them.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
a lot of them did die, but
Okay.
there's one of her friends just got sawed in half in front of her,
Okay.
and she's literally like, and I could tell that like is the next shot. They're like, oh, we got to set a trap for the killers. It's like the cops are talking to the cops, the mayor, like all these people are because they're having a Thanksgiving parade, and they're like, oh, we're gonna cancel it, and they're like talking about how they're gonna cancel it and stuff, and then she's sitting there with like PTSD, like just like staring off into space.
She was traumatized.
Well, then no, that's fine. I actually thought that was real. That's a good part. Like I was like, that's totally what someone would be like. They'd
Yeah.
be spaced out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're gonna cancel the parade, and she's like, no, we have to find the killers, and we have to stop this now. Thanksgiving ends tonight.
So she was probably trying to remember her lines.
Maybe I don't know.
She's trying to picture the script. Like, what do I say? next?
Maybe that's what she was doing. But she gets like she's saying this like speech about how they got to stop it now, so they don't have to look behind their back, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, we'll do that, and then she sits back down and goes back out in the space, you
They
know.
probably were telling her, try to look like you're traumatized because all your friends are dying and stuff.
Right, and
she
that was
just-
good.
And she just doesn't know how to do it, so she just keeps doing that same.
No, the
thing.
Trump. So you can see she has like she played that part well, where it's like, yeah, that's totally believable. She'd have PTSD. Like I bought that. That's fine.
Yeah.
She acted that fine, but the script,
how
the
she
writing,
snaps in and out of it or something.
yes, the writing. From what I know about PTSD, you don't just hear that they're going to cancel a parade and then snap right to it, like, no, we can't. Like you think rationally, and then you go back down to the PTSD. I think that's like you're kind of jacked up for a while. She needs help. She needs a psychiatrist and maybe some pills at this point because she's not correct in her head, you know. And who would be if you saw your friend literally ripped in half?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that PTSD. Leave it in the comments how PTSD works.
I'm not a doctor. I know you guys probably
in and out, or?
right. I know you guys probably think just because I played one in a couple of the movies I was in that I'm a doctor, but I'm not. And I don't know for sure. But from what I do know about trauma,
Dr. Klopek would know.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good callback.
Anyway,
my brother, the doctor. Man, we gotta get more sardines on this.
Oh man,
these guys haven't even seen it yet.
I'll be honest with you. After that episode, I was talking to Amanda, and I was like, I should have tried it, man.
People are leaving comments constantly.
I was like regretting not trying. I was like, I should have just tried it. You know, it was the smell that just.
Oh, it's terrible. It was terrible. But
bad.
that's what I wanted. I actually wanted it to be disgusting. I was hoping it would be like awful.
Oh, the smell was
terrible. But once you eat it, it's
when
just
I saw you going for seconds, I thought
I wasn't that bad.
And then you said it didn't taste too bad. It just smelled bad. I thought I should have just tried it, man.
I know that was the prop. I had it set up, man. And now I don't even have props for this one. You know,
my Amanda was like, they have fish bones all in there, right? So I'm the whole.
I bought the ones without fish bones.
I'm gonna puncture like.
I bought the ones without fish bones. Yeah, the bones were in there.
Yeah, right.
What? No, they're boneless.
Boneless fish bones?
They pull the bones out of them. Yeah, you can buy different kinds of. There's a million different kinds of sardines, as it turns out. I found out a lot about sardines.
I don't know anything about
They have
that.
sardines and spring water. They have sardines.
They're so tiny that the bones are like, you know.
Well, I certainly didn't feel any bones when I ate it, but
I would assume
I'll say they have sardines and spring water, sardines and oil, sardines and like hot spicy sardines. Like they have a whole
what did you get?
Section. I just got the spring water. I intentionally got the ones I thought would be the grossest.
I don't know. I think the spicy ones might be the way to go.
Oh, I'm sure that if I was to buy them myself, to actually try for real, I probably would have went hot. That actually looked pretty good, honestly. But I wanted it to be as gross as possible because I'd never had sardines before, and I wanted to gross you guys out. And Andy's all on the train, and you apparently it just worked too well for you. I just got you too good.
Have you guys ever tried sardines? Leave it in the comments. Have you ever tried sardines?
Oh, that's a good question.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, because I
don't know anybody who's ever eaten sardines in my life.
Right.
That was the first
Joe, our neighbor, used to eat them.
Really?
You remember that?
Well, how do you even know that? How do you know that?
Martinelli?
He bragged about it or something?
No, he ate them in front of us.
Oh my gosh! Who does that? Is he snacking on them?
Yeah. No, my dad would always go there to they'd have drink. He's our neighbor growing up.
Yeah,
and he'd go for their hot toddies is what he'd call them, and it's like
that's what he calls the sardines.
Oh no,
it's a drink.
It's a drink, you guy.
I thought you were saying that's what he calls these.
No, he'd go for hot toddies.
Maybe he's making some combo mix here.
No, they'd go for drinks, and then they would. He would eat sardines. My dad did not like that. My dad did not like fish or anything like that, really.
Yeah, he did. He loved fish.
Did he?
Long John Silver's all the time.
Well, that is true, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
You know what they say about Long John Silver's? They say that there's like, I mean, first of all, nobody knows anybody who goes there.
So, I used to go. I used to like it.
They say there's some like
a ghost
underground club keeping them open, like underground group that keeps Long John because you still see them around, but nobody knows anybody.
Underground railroad.
No, you're talking about like a mattress firm.
Yes.
Well, there's never anybody in there, but somehow they stay open.
They stay open. That's what they say about look it up. Long John Silver's. They say you see them around, but nobody knows anybody who actually goes there. So it's like there's something going on.
I've heard the majority of the people actually go there and they go to that mattress store are people that work underground for Spirit Halloween, just like a ghost, just waiting for them to close down so they can open up during October.
I don't know.
Could be.
Leave in the comments if you know what's going on with the Long John Silver's.
I actually liked Long John Silver's, although I had their hush puppies there and I thought they're disgusting.
I'd never been there, but I went next door to Ponderosa.
Ponderosa, remember the stair set they had there?
Wait, in Zion?
Yeah, there's like a 10 set stair. That's the biggest stairs I ever did.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
You sure about that?
I don't remember seeing you do that set.
Yeah.
I totally did.
Nobody saw it.
Oh, it's on video. Josh has it on one of his VHSCs somewhere.
Are you sure about Ponderosa?
Oh, yeah.
Do you even know what I'm talking about? You even know what Ponderosa is?
Yeah, steakhouse, right? Steaks.
It was a buffet.
Buffet,
place.
Yeah, a crappy one.
Yeah, it was super crappy.
Yeah. There was one in Zion. It's right next to Long John Silver's.
It was right next to it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember.
Well, let's move on then.
right next
All
to
right,
Kmart.
let's shut this down.
Yeah. So, anyways,
We're beyond
yeah, we're way
Thanksgiving.
beyond Thanksgiving.
But we're talking about buffets, and that's kind of
That is
Thanksgiving
food related.
style.
Yeah. So we hope you guys had a great dinner. Even though this is a week later, we hope you still have leftovers. By now, it's probably starting to mold. You might want to throw it away. But
yeah.
Thanksgiving, the movie, it's a good movie. You should
Not
go
terrible,
see it.
not
terrible.
Yeah, worth a watch.
Worth
Or a
$16 a
stream.
person.
Oh no, I don't know about
Probably
that.
wait till it comes home. You know.
Yeah.
Then it's a
It'll
fine
be
watch.
streamable in a week
2
or
months.
so.
A week.
Okay.
Who knows? I don't
Something
know.
like that.
Probably by now it's already on the
Yeah.
red box.
But worth 16, maybe not. Worth seeing. It's still all right though. It's fun to
Maybe.
see the kills in
Maybe.
theater. You know.
Yeah.
See it on a Tuesday. The $2 Tuesdays.
It's
definitely
best,
worth it.
It's best
Definitely
in the
worth it.
theater though. It's
For sure.
On a big screen.
$2 Tuesday. Go there. Or $5 Tuesday. Wherever your Tuesday is, that value.
Or Wednesday.
Or Wednesday. Wacky
Wednesday
Wednesdays.
here in
Yeah, here it's
Round Rock.
Wednesday.
Yeah. If you go on that night, and it's definitely worth
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
So Thanksgiving worth it. ThanksKilling, not so much. Not
Well,
so
like I
much.
said,
Clear
watch
that
it
one.
if you're like, if you want to see the worst movie ever, and you're just like,
Well, I wouldn't say the worst movie ever.
Well, no, maybe not.
There's
Didn't
No,
worse.
no, no. I wouldn't say that. That's kind
If
of
John Waters
that's
made it, it might be.
That's insulting. And you know what? To the makers of that movie, if they're watching, if they ever
And they
watch
are, I'm
this, then I want to say I had some good laughs at that movie.
There were a couple, like the part was so
So-
dumb with the face, but
I was gonna do 3 thumbs up, but I can't do that. But so it's, I had some.
eh,
I had some good laughs. So
Yeah.
we still joke about
Just
it.
don't
and
don't make
that's-
another one.
I think that's what's so important.
Let's call it
We
done.
still joke about it. You
Turkey's
know,
done.
and if you can joke about a movie, and then you talk about it later on,
I
hey,
might reuse that Tish and the
Hey,
coffee.
if I saw if our movie that we made, if people are joking about it and laughing about it later on, we succeeded. You know,
That's true. That's
So,
true.
Anyway,
But yeah, so there you have it. That's our reviews. We're almost unanimous on Thanksgiving, 7.1
yeah, it's all about a
ish.
7. Yeah.
It's worth a watch. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you liked it or whatever, let us know in the comments. If you guys got any ideas for like a theme you want to see coming up, it is going to be Christmas time.
Yeah, we're moving.
We're
into
rocking and
Christmas.
rolling straight to December here, and
Yes.
it's all about Christmas movies. We're
Yeah.
thinking about what to watch in the upcoming reviews we're going to do. Probably Christmas Vacation. It probably Die Hard. It might be in there.
We might
You never know.
combo it up a little bit because we don't want to be talking about the same old Christmas movies that
Everyone talks about
everybody's
the same
talking
stuff.
about.
Yeah, so we'll probably watch
We're,
Silent
we're
Night,
looking
Deadly
for some
Night.
unique stuff out there.
Yeah,
that's
we need some
gonna-
unique stuff for sure. But that's going to do it for tonight. Hashtag like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. I know I should put the robot voice on for that.
Like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next week with another show where we're going to talk about. Actually, I have a great topic for that one. It's going to be the one with.